Hi everyone, this is astrologer Tisch Aitken, and I'm here to discuss the beginning of April and the full moon in Libra. If you could please like and subscribe to my channel, I would really appreciate it. So let me give a brief background of what's leading up to the full moon. So at the very end of March, Mars is going to exit the sign of Capricorn. And Mars's journey through Capricorn has been setting off this whole huge stellium in Capricorn and this very eventful conjunction that we had take place in January of Saturn, the planet of karma, and Pluto, the planet of transformation. And they both met up on January 12th at 22 degrees cardinal. So Mars is now exiting the sign of Capricorn. And that's brought a lot of events in recent time, as we all know. And it's now entering the sign of Aquarius for the next 6 weeks. And Mars in Aquarius is very rebellious. It's about innovation, taking very ingenious action and coming up with great insights to do things and accomplish things in a very genius way. But it also can be very revolutionary energy and impulsive. So that's the thing. And on March 31st, Mars is meeting up with Saturn, which is the planet of restrictions and challenges, because Saturn has just as recently entered the sign of Aquarius. It entered on March 21st and will remain in Aquarius until July 2nd, when it re-enters the sign of Capricorn, where it will remain until December 17th of this year. So we're getting a preview of the Saturn and Aquarius story, which is very much about innovative energy, about connecting and forming communities in a different way. And certainly it's going to change the whole trajectory for all of us and how we earn money and doing things in much more innovative ways, probably much more virtual ways. But in this beginning of April, we also have Venus changing signs. It's entering the sign of Gemini, which is a really nice placement of Venus. It's fun and flirtatious and social, but Venus is going to be retrograde in the month of May. So it's going to be slowing down in the month of April. And Venus only retrogrades once every year and a half. And Venus in retrograde is not a time to make a big purchase. It's a time to be reflective. Old lovers and friends from the past can resurface, but it is not a time to really launch something new financially if can be avoided. And so we've got Venus entering Gemini on April 3rd, and then it's going to remain in Gemini. It's going to retrograde from May 13th until June 25th. And then it's going to remain in the sign of Gemini until August 8th. So it's going to be in Gemini for a few months. And on April 4th, we have a big conjunction of Jupiter, the planet of expansion and abundance, and Pluto, the planet of transformation. And they're meeting up at 24 degrees of Capricorn. And that is an aspect where you can achieve tremendous things and have big accomplishments, and it's a very it's an energy where you can really get things done and feel confident and powerful. But it's also still setting off the Saturn Pluto conjunction that we had in January, and so it's still re-triggering things that we've been dealing with all year. And then we have on April 4th, Mercury is going to form a beautiful aspect to both Jupiter and Pluto, and that's an aspect of really brainstorming to get things done. So that's positive. Now, as we get a little further into April, we're going to have a full moon in Aries that takes place on April 7th. It takes place on April 7th, and it occurs at 10:35 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. And I cast a chart for the full moon and the new moon, and I'm on Eastern Time. So on Eastern Time Zone, the full moon chart has Scorpio ascendant, and the sun in Aries falls in the 5th house of creativity and self-expression. and the moon itself falls in the 11th house of friends and groups. Now, the stellium in Capricorn is getting a little bit slower, getting a little bit getting less planets. Mars is no longer in Capricorn now, but we still have that energy strong, and that stellium is taking place in the second house of money and income, and that is where Pluto in Capricorn is, and Pluto is the ruler of the chart, so it's entailing a lot of transformation and death and rebirth and all of this. But we also have the sun in Aries is opposing the moon. That's a very fiery sun sign. It's ruled by Mars, and in the full moon chart, Mars is forming an exact square to Uranus and Taurus. And Mars is going to be in Aquarius, which is ruled by the planet Uranus. So it's squaring its ruler. And that can be very, very chaotic energy. It can be sudden endings or changes. It can be people acting very irascible. So I think that it's important to realize it's a tricky full moon. It's a good time for release and getting things done, but be careful of people losing their temper, of be careful with machinery and driving, because Mars square Uranus can in the more challenging way can cause accidents. So you just want to be extra mindful, but it can be very innovative energy. So I think I would tap into that and what you wish to release with this full moon, and also recognizing that the Jupiter-Pluto conjunction, which is really transformational energy and very powerful, and is going to take place two more times this year. It's going to happen in June of this year and in November of this year. That this is very helpful in all of this. So, I think that it's going to be a tricky full moon, but it's also a time of release. And I wish you a lot of luck, and thank you very much. Take care. Bye-bye.